2025 is your year.
2025.
Start it right with New Year, New You on iHeartRadio.
New year, new you.
Good vibes playlists like party hits, chill tracks on lo-fi, and motivational podcasts to crush your resolutions. From wellness, finances, travel, and more.
Let's go.
New year, new you.
New you.
Explore it all
Feel brand new.
at iHeartRadio.ca and on the free iHeartRadio app. This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello everyone, I'm Naomi Kyle and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week we're catching up on the video game SAG-AFTRA strike, the Fantastic Four joining Marvel Rivals, Switch 2 news, our expectations for Grand Theft Auto 6, and a whole lot more. We've got all of this week's gaming news, so let's hop right in. It has been 1 month since the launch of NetEase's burgeoning PvP hero shooter game, Marvel Rivals. Since then, Marvel Rivals has amassed over 20 million players and at the height of its popularity, marked over 480,000 concurrent players on Steam, surpassing games like Destiny 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 in concurrent player numbers. Well, now Marvel Rivals is set to drop its first set of new heroes, and it's none other than the Fantastic Four. As is expected, you'll soon be able to play as the Invisible Woman, the Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, and the Thing when the first official Season 1 drops on Friday, January 10th at 1 a.m. Pacific Time. Titled Season 1, Eternal Night Falls, the story arc follows Dracula and Doctor Doom as they plunge New York into eternal night. Dracula has trapped Doctor Strange and scattered the Darkhold pages, and it's up to the Fantastic Four and Marvel heroes to battle the darkness that has been unleashed. Sounds epic, and I'll be ready for it when it launches this upcoming Friday. Back in July of 2024, video game companies refused to meet the demands of actors who aimed to safeguard the future of their profession against the rapid advancement of AI. In retaliation, the members of the actors union at SAG-AFTRA certified to strike against the video games industry, preventing the development of new video games that rely on the talents of actors. Thanks to both the decisiveness of the guild and indecision of large game studios, the fruits of their corporate greed have come to bear. Two strongly anticipated games from Kojima Productions titled OD and Ficent have had to officially suspend their production. Ficent is very early in its development and had to suspend casting, while OD, which is farther in the development cycle, was forced to suspend production in the midst of filming. Both games have been described as video game movie hybrids and at this point in time are without release windows. And these two titles, as potentially lucrative as they are, could remain in development purgatory or worse, getting shelved altogether if a deal isn't brokered between actors and studio executives soon. Nintendo has always been a leader when it comes to innovation in the gaming space. The Wii revolutionized motion in gaming, and the Switch redefined gaming in motion. But for what each Nintendo console demonstrated creatively, they lacked severely in power when compared to the other consoles of their generations. So, with the Switch 2 on the way, many expect another underpowered console incapable of playing large AAA titles. Well, as it turns out, Nintendo had filed a patent way back in July of 2023 while developing hardware for their next console. The patent was finally published on New Year's Eve 2024, and it details a computer system for converting images through the use of a trained neural network. In layman's terms, it uses AI software to upscale a low-resolution image to a high-resolution image. This implementation of AI could keep game file sizes relatively small without sacrificing graphical fidelity or drops in frame rate. However, what I found most interesting about the patent was the conditions under which this AI upscaling process is suggested to take place. In the patent, there is a section that mentions power for how the game device is used. Like today's Nintendo Switch, their aforementioned game device is able to output a better image when it is docked than when it is being used as a handheld. The patent mentions that this AI upscaling feature can also only be used when the game device is docked or when the device is plugged into an AC adapter, so it can take full advantage of the device's GPU without having to worry about rapidly draining the device's battery. Another interesting morsel of information I noticed was located in a few paragraphs about cloud computing. It hinted at the possibility that the game device can be hosted in a cloud-based environment. It even goes on to propose that if a user didn't have a device with a GPU capable of running the AI upscaling software, that the user could instead run the software via an app and use cloud computing to stream to a device like a phone, TV, or tablet. Mind blown. This is, of course, all speculative, and whomever drafted this patent might just be trying to cover all of their bases. But if there is any truth to this, I theorize it could mean that we will get a version of the Nintendo Switch Online service capable of competing with subscription models like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass. Or at the very least, a version of Nintendo Switch Online that offers subscribers to play classic Nintendo titles in HD on their phones or tablets without owning a Nintendo console. The most anticipated game of 2025 is no doubt Grand Theft Auto 6. The hype for a new GTA is off the charts compared to the last title, GTA 5, that was released over a decade ago. Over the course of its lifetime, GTA 5 made Rockstar, the game's developer, over $12.4 billion, aka $8.6 billion US. Now that more people play video games than ever before, how much money does GTA 6 stand to make? Well, the video game research group DFC Intelligence posed the same question, and after some extensive analysis, they've predicted that GTA 6 will blow past $1 billion in pre-orders alone. After the game launches, the research group foresees GTA 6 will earn $4.6 billion Canadian, that's $3.2 billion US, over the course of only 1 year. I crunched some numbers, and with the average AAA game priced at $90 in Canada and without accounting for microtransactions, it could mean that GTA 6 is capable of selling over 51 million copies in just a year. This massive influx of revenue would be just the thing Rockstar needs to offset the development costs of GTA, which at the time of this recording is unknown, but the Financial Times approximates that Take-Two, Rockstar's parent company, has invested as much as $3 billion Canadian to develop GTA 6. There is still no official release date for GTA 6, but it is due to hit store shelves less than a year from now, with a release window set for fall 2025. We'll see if they keep it. 1 week into the new year, and we are just days away from the unveiling of new gadgets and tech that will be making their debut at 2025's Consumer Electronics Showcase, or as it is better known, CES. To build up hype, Atari tweeted a sneak peek of what they have in store for retro video game fans attending the showcase. The tweet featured a 90-second video flaunting the design and glossy exterior of Atari's next handheld console they are calling the Game Station Go. The Game Station Go comes fully loaded with all of the buttons you would expect to find on a modern-day controller. We're talking ABXY, triggers, a D-pad, the whole 9 yards. But what good is a modern Atari console without including the controllers that so many Atari titles were built around, like the trackball, paddle, and the keypad? Fear not, because those controller inputs have been tastefully integrated into the design of the Game Station Go. It is unknown at this time how much Atari is asking for the Game Station Go, when it will be available in stores, or if it is capable of being played on a TV like so many of today's handheld consoles. But I plan to have more information for you on this topic when CES 2025 begins on January 7th.
Games out this week.
And now it's time to go over the video games releasing this week. On January 7th, Ys Memoir: The Oath of Felghana is getting a remake on PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. Sea Fantasy casts out on PC and Xbox Series X and S. Then January 9th, Gears of Goo marches onto the Apple Vision Pro. Sleight of Hand shuffles onto PC and Xbox Series X and S. And on January 10th, Freedom Wars Remastered breaks free from the PS Vita and releases on PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. The Epic Game Store is offering just one free game this week, Turmoil, which will be available for download from January 9th until the 15th. PS Plus subscribers can look forward to 3 free games for the month of January: The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, and Mega 64's Game of the Year, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. All of these titles will be free and available to download from January 7th to February 3rd.
Quest complete.
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our first guest of the year, Maude Garrett. She's back to chat about our expectations for GTA 6, what we think of the new Marvel Rivals heroes, and Atari is back, but not in the way you think.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hello, Maude.
Hello, Naomi.
Aren't you excited? We are back here for the first episode of the year.
2025. What a time to feel alive.
So excited. Did you have a good holiday?
Sure did. I made best friends with your dog, little
We have a
Nugget.
dog. Yeah, my little Nugget. His name's Odie. He's a cutie, little French bulldog. And thank you so much for taking care of him. I think he misses you a lot.
I love him. He's so easy to love.
He's the best.
Those farts, though.
I know. Frenchies are notorious for that. They're notorious for that.
And no shame either. I was like, buddy, you just ripped. And he'd be like, ah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I don't know how to segue from that. So I'm just going to say the big news this Monday, Marvel Rivals, it's a free game. So, of course, everyone's playing it. But they announced a Fantastic Four. The cast of Fantastic Four, the characters are going to be joining the game. Did you take a look at what they look like?
I sure did. Now, you and I have been playing Marvel Rivals together. We've been having a few gaming sessions. If you have been a fan of Overwatch, this is a fantastic game to segue into. It is 6v6, so it can get a little chaotic. But with the introduction of the new 4 characters, I think it makes a total of 37 selectable players for the game now. I believe it's like Jan 10 that they're going to come out. What I think is a really cool thing with the Fantastic Four in a Marvel Rivals lens is that you've got Johnny Storm, Human Torch, who's obviously going to be a flying character and ranged is my guess as well. The Thing is going to be a tank and a freaking successful tank at that. And then you've got sort of hopefully like defense and having Invisible Woman Susan kind of be able to sneakily, stealthily get across the field. I'm wondering if she's a healer as well, shield healing.
That would make sense for her character.
And then Mr. Fantastic himself, Reed Richards, I wonder if he is kind of going to be melee, but from a distance. Is it Dal Sim from Street Fighter who had those really long-limbed attacks? Yeah. I wonder, because he's Mr. Stretchy Man, if he's going to kind of be able to thwonk you from the other side of the playing field. Look, I'm excited for new characters. I want a new map as well, and apparently that's happening.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole story arc. It's the official first season 1 of Marvel Rivals. I mean, we're going to have – I mean, I'm excited. There's going to be so many other heroes, too, that I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah, I think my go-to will probably be – I think it'll probably be the Thing for me just because I haven't played much of a tank, but I think his character design is really cool.
I want to try all of them. I'm still trying to create an ideal group. And what that means in a Marvel Rivals sense is that if you team up from the same property, from the same sort of group like Guardians of the Galaxy or if the X-Men, when you team up like that, you get a team boost.
Yeah.
And the one I've been trying out the most at the moment is the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's Star-Lord and Mantis and Adam Warlock. And that's 2 healers and a DPS. And the boost is something that really can be a game changer. So I'm trying to get a squad together to max that out. But I think that Fantastic Four as a squad would be really well balanced and a good thing as well.
Oh, so yeah.
I will say, for a free game, it is packing so much into it.
So much. We still have so many more. I mean, there unfortunately were leaks of some of the heroes, but we're not going to talk on that. We're not going to say it.
Text me.
We're skipping. Well, I'll text you. Yeah, I'll say it in private. But speaking of which, hero talk, what are some heroes you would love to see that are part of the Marvel Universe that you love and would love to see part of the game?
I do think it's fun including villains in the lineup as well. Yeah. So it's not just a hero fest saving the day. So expanding sort of some of the villains that we can get. What they've been doing a really good job of with Marvel Rivals, and if you're a big Marvels fan and you're not playing, this could entice you as well. They're using dialogue between the characters to kind of tease what's coming up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is my bet. So they're talking about the fact that there are 2 Dooms that have kind of taken over the universe in a particular way. And the comic has come out to support this story. And apparently there is a future Doom and a current day Doom that have teamed up to try and eradicate everyone. And you can kind of see how the heroes within this game are coming together to fight against these two dooms, and the confidence levels and like maybe even sort of techniques that they're going to try and use to combat this new big bad. And I think that that's really interesting narrative-wise, to kind of use a video game to excel the cinematic universe. Now, in terms of that, I can see them releasing supporting villains in the future narrative of what we're going to see and add them to the slate. What villains are they going to be? I'm not particularly sure. And I don't think Doom will be playable. I think he will be a boss. If they ever do a campaign or a test level staged playthrough, that would be the big bad you can go up against, even though it is a 6v6 kind of game. There's so many options. The fact that they've put in all 4 of the Fantastic Four, I think, was really, really baller. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I agree with you about the villains. I mean, maybe if you beat Doctor Doom at the boss fight, you get to play him after.
Oh, that's fun.
Stuff like that. Or, part of the storyline for this Eternals Night Falls, it's Dracula and Doctor Doom. Maybe once you've beat them, you can now play them kind of thing. Or I was also thinking, just my personal favorite Marvel character is Rogue from the X-Men.
Yes.
So I would love to see her character and what she
would
could
be
do.
So OP.
Wouldn't she be fun?
Oh,
she just absorbs people's power probably and starts using it. That's like my initial guess, but maybe they'll come up with something more creative than that.
Kind of like Loki's ultimate, where he becomes and turns into another team member and can use their special abilities.
Yeah.
I think Rogue would be fantastic. More X-Men would always be great.
All interesting choices, all interesting options. So moving on to GTA 6, because that's the big thing this year. So we're going to talk top of the year, GTA 6. It was in the news this week because apparently people have speculated, or this one organization has speculated, that the game's expected to make $3 billion in its first year.
With a B. Did GTA 5 make, I thought that made like $500 million in sales within like 48 hours or something. Was that?
It was wild. And in totality, it made like almost $9 billion American.
So this one making $3 billion in its first year, I don't think
First year.
Yeah, in its first year, I don't think is a stretch.
I agree.
Like this game makes its presence known when it comes out, and we wait for the next ones. Like that's right. The chokehold that this game has on the gaming industry as a whole. So my expectations are reasonably set at this being an incredible game, a flawless game, if you will. Now, being in the 6th iteration is always hard because you have to add value from the last game and change it, but not ruin it, and that can be a little difficult. I wonder, because the success of GTA 5 going into MMO, the way that it has been the last few years, like that took off and continued making pretty great revenue stream for GTA. I wonder if they're going to release 6 and have single player campaign or / and an MMO option in one.
Yeah, because that would really be huge. People,
that's kind of
not having to wait for that element of it, the MMO part. I think if the story and the writing's there, that's like a big part of what made GTA 5 really good, right? The characters, you get to play through 3 different characters. So I wonder what they're going to do for this. Like I'm very excited. I think the story is the main reason I'm going to play this. I don't know if I'm going to be the online, go back to this game a million times type player, but that for me is a big thing. And I might be alone in this, but I had trouble with the driving in GTA 5. So if they could figure out a way to make it somewhat easier.
You do get a bit wobbly on the roads, and there's a lot of traffic. Yeah. And so you just start plowing through things, and then you're wanted by the cops in like 17 different regions.
That's right.
And you're just like, oh, come on. Stop making the roads so difficult. They're so narrow.
Exactly. Last thing I want to touch on, Atari has a handheld.
I saw.
Yeah, they came out with this 2024, then it kind of was not talked about much. Now CES, they're hoping to come back hopefully and get the hype back up. But it's just a handheld. It's got 200 classic games. It's not doing anything super innovative. I'm trying to think, like, is there a place for Atari to do a huge comeback? Is the handheld going to be enough? They need to innovate at this point, And I don't know if this handheld really provides that.
I feel like we've had so many iterations of handhelds, which is just installed, whether it's an emulator or not, with retro games. And if that's your jam, you already know about it, you've bought it, and you've had fun with it. The handheld market lately, I don't think has been good since the PSP days. Like, what was that, 14 years ago at this stage? I think that Switch has, kind of the flag in the ground at the moment for handhelds, and it doesn't really have much competition. The Steam Deck probably is the closest thing to that, but it's just to expand how you play your PC games, which is very, very clever. That's probably the only other console I would want apart from the Switch 2 that is coming out. I think that there's been so many similar non-innovative handheld games that were supposed to take gaming to the next level, whether it was its own thing or a place to slide your phone into to play your phone as a handheld console, that have just tanked. And Atari needed to set Switch 2 as their competitor or be as good as the Steam Deck for them to even have a seat at this table.
Yeah.
And because they haven't done that, I think that it will not make its mark the way that they hope it will.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I just, I think if I were Atari at this point, they should just make a game. They should just do something different. I don't know if the hardware is their strength anymore.
I know exactly what they should do.
I'm wondering I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the offices there to hear what they're trying to do to revamp the brand.
So there was something about Atari that doesn't exist anymore. There was something about arcade games that doesn't exist anymore. And that was incredibly competitive, incredibly specific gameplay where you did not respawn. You did not have infinite lives. You put your quarters in. You had 3 lives. You lost them. You die. You start again. And that sort of art form has perished because we want to play games for 60 hours. We don't want to have the Nintendo Entertainment System subtly still plugged in so that your mum doesn't turn it off and you lose your game. That kind of gameplay is very appealing to a smaller group of gamers who find challenging gameplay exciting. And if Atari corners that market, because they're bringing back retro gaming, but if they were to bring back retro style games where we have beautiful looking games where you have 3 lives and there is something beautiful about being able to finish this game, because as a gamer that would be such an accomplishment because it's near impossible. It would cater to that kind of gamer, and I think that would be beautiful. But making more of the same shit like reinvigorate what it means for a retro game to exist. That's what's beautiful. That's what they should be harnessing. Not more of the same old, but make old new again.
Couldn't have said it better. And I also think if Atari's listening, listen to what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm freelance.
What Maude just said.
I can consult. Give me a bell.
All right, Maude, thank you so much as always. You're the best guest to have on this show. People love you and I love you and I appreciate your time all the time.
You're the best. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Maude Garrett is a TV host in games and entertainment and the creator of Maude's Book Club. You can follow her on Twitter at Maude Garrett.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle, and I had such an amazing time bringing you all the latest in games today. Thank you so much for listening, and a shout out to my co-writer, Josh Seaman. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think of these stories by tagging me at Naomi Kyle on social. And from all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a gaming-filled week. We'll see you again same time next week. Talk to you later.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these. 2025 is your year.
2025.
Start it right with New Year, New You on iHeartRadio.
New year, new you.
Good vibes playlists like party hits, chill tracks on lo-fi, and motivational podcasts to crush your resolutions. From wellness, finances, travel, and more.
Let's go.
New year, new you.
New you.
Explore it all
Feel brand new.
at iHeartRadio.ca and on the free iHeartRadio app.